You'll come to better understand how the writings in the Torah and the Hebrew prophets connect to the New Testament.
I'm gonna live my life for Yeshua.
Shalom, beloved. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Discovering the Jewish Jesus. We're beginning a brand new series which will last us through several months. The name of the series, beloved, is called Understanding End Time Events and the Book of Revelation Through the Eyes of the Hebrew Prophets. What we're going to be doing is looking at specific key end time events as they're unfolding, even coming upon the earth and the world right now. We're going to see what the prophets and the Torah had to say about these events, and then we're going to look at their counterpart in the Brit Hadashah. You know, everywhere, all over the earth right now, there's a sense of foreboding, a sense, beloved, that there's a darkness just on the horizon. I was recently in Israel, and in Israel, as I spoke with some folks that live there, I asked them, you know, how are you feeling right now in Israel? And I've been over there many times before, and in the past when I've talked to these same individuals, they were very optimistic. But when I asked them this time how they felt, they said, I have to say, Rabbi, that I'm just not feeling good right now. What we're feeling here in America, this sense of darkness, this sense of chaos, this sense of impending doom, beloved, it's not just in America that this is being felt, it's all over the globe, and it's all over the earth. Of course, there are several factors contributing to this. Right now, as I'm producing this broadcast in 2009, there is the whole economic situation that's looming not only on our country, but it's affected the whole world. But this is something, beloved, that we're experiencing economically in this country now that hasn't been experienced since the Great Depression, and things are much more complicated now. And the problems that we're facing economically, as my audience knows, are problems that are not easily fixable. And the scary thing is, beloved, outside of the Lord, that when we try to fix the problem, what we're actually doing is creating another problem with that which we're using to fix the economic problem. You know, it's the same thing in healthcare. You go to the doctor and they prescribe you a prescription, and sometimes the prescription that they give you that treats the symptoms for the problem that you're having, that prescription creates another problem. You know, it's like, oh, beware if you take this prescription, you know, that it's bad for your kidneys or it's bad for your brain or whatever. Well, the solutions that we have available right now in this country to deal with the economic crisis, the solutions, beloved, are in a very real way just prolonging the inevitable. There is a sense now, beloved, that the things that the Bible spoke about, a time when the world would move into a period of chaos and darkness, a time when things would get out of control. This, beloved, that the Bible spoke of, even back to the time of the Hebrew prophets, we are feeling it descending upon the earth right now in our lifetime. I know that many of you have heard for years that the end is here, the end is near, the end is coming. But now, beloved, it's different. People all over the earth are feeling it. Even people that are not believers are sensing this sense, beloved, of darkness and of doom. Compounding the economic problems that we're having is what these economic problems are creating. When you have people, beloved, without money and that can't get work, this creates a state of chaos, because people that don't have money and can't afford to feed their children, they begin to commit crimes. And when you don't have enough money to pay police officers, law enforcement is weakened. There's all types of things, beloved, that are happening right now. The end, I'm telling you, is coming upon us. Not to mention, what we're facing right now is a world with the threat of nuclear disaster. You know, there are countries we're all aware of all over the earth, all over the globe. They hate America. They're tired of America's wielding the power and influencing countries all over the earth because of the strength of our nation. Many countries have resented America for getting involved in affairs around the globe that they don't think it has been our business to get involved in. I'm not going to go into specifics. Many of you know what I'm talking about. And these countries in the past have been powerless to do anything about it. But these same countries that up until this time have been powerless to do anything against America, now, beloved, these same countries are getting their hands on nuclear weapons. And when you have a small country that has been pushed around by a much larger country, and that smaller country gets their hand on nuclear weapons, I want to tell you, beloved, oftentimes they are not shrinking back. They will not shrink back from using it. Israel feels right now, for example, that the nations that surround them are just biding time, that they're just, Israel has this sense right now from all over, the citizens of Israel have this sense that it's just a matter of time before some of the surrounding countries. You know the enemies of Israel and the fact that Iran has declared really in their spirit and in their heart war against Israel. Statements have been made that they should be wiped off the face of the earth, that Israel should not have the right to exist. And these countries that have such a tremendous hatred towards Israel, they are now, we know, developing nuclear weapons. So the end is near. The end is upon us, and there's nothing that's going to happen that's going to reverse the trend. Sometimes people have described history, beloved, as a pendulum. They say, well, you know, things go this direction, they move to the right, and after a while, things swing so far to the right that things automatically correct themselves, and the pendulum swings back to the center. But I'm here, beloved, to tell you today and to warn you on behalf of God that this is not a pendulum effect that we're facing, that morality is not going to correct itself, that nuclear weapons in the hands of hostile enemies are not going to correct itself. Even our experts, beloved, in the field of medicine tell us that it's only a matter of time before a plague, some type of disease strikes this nation, just as it has in the past. They say we're due for it, and that it could wipe off, we know, a third of the population. So there's a sense, beloved, of impending doom. Yeshua spoke about the time that a great tribulation would come upon the earth. The Hebrew prophets talked about this time. The Hebrew prophet Jeremiah in the book of Jeremiah chapter 30, we'll be studying the weeks ahead, called it the time of Jacob's trouble. That's the Hebrew term for what we call in the New Testament the Great Tribulation. It is here, beloved, and it is now. People are sensing it all over the world. We're living in a time right now, beloved, that really has recaptured the spirit of the apostles. Do you know that the writers of the New Testament, the writers of the Hebrew we call the New Testament, the Brit Hadashah, they had a sense, beloved, that Yeshua, that Jesus would return in their lifetime. The writers of the New Testament did not think he may return in our lifetime. The writers of the New Testament, the Apostle Paul, Shaul we call him in Hebrew, or Peter, Kepha we call him in Hebrew, these two apostles, beloved, they didn't believe that they were living in the possibly generation. They didn't think that Yeshua would possibly return in their lifetime. They were convinced that he would return in their lifetime. So that, for example, in 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 7, the apostle Shaul says that he was waiting expectantly, he said, waiting expectantly for the return of Yeshua Mashiach. He believed it would happen in his lifetime. We see the same thing is true, beloved, with Kepha, with Peter. He wrote in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 12, that we, he's speaking to the people living in his generation, should be looking for and hastening the day of the Lord. You see, Peter believed not only that Yeshua would return in his lifetime, but Kepha also believed that there was something that we on earth could do about it to bring him back. That's why Yeshua concludes the book of Revelation by saying, let the Spirit and the bride say, come. You and I can participate in bringing back Messiah's return, and we're going to be examining this concept, beloved, hallelujah, in the weeks ahead. Do you know, beloved, right now we are living in a time similar to that of the apostles. The apostles expected Yeshua to return in their lifetime, and that same sense of expectancy is upon the earth once again. This sense, beloved, of expectation of Messiah returning in our lifetime and in our generation, it really wasn't at the heart of the church for many years. In fact, there was a period of almost 1,700 years approximately where the church wasn't thinking much about Messiah's return. If you look at the writings of some of the early church fathers, Calvin, Luther, many of the other reformers and other church fathers as well, you see very little written in their works about the end times, about the return of Messiah. The reason is, beloved, the reason that there was such a small amount of messianic expectation for this period from about, actually from about 100 AD up until the present time, there's a reason that there was such little anticipation for Messiah's return, and the reason was, beloved, that Israel was not in their land. In 70 AD, when the Romans came in and destroyed